Alright, so this video is for stock traders with the Ultimate Swing Trader. And what I wanted to cover in the video, which you probably saw in the little preface to this video, is just really how easy it is to find stocks to trade with the strategy. I know that's always a concern for some people, like, hey, what am I going to trade? A couple of things I want to suggest. Number one, go down further in the blog here in the stocks section, and we have some ongoing tracking where we were looking at some of the same stocks over several updates, and you see some of the names like Apple and Research in Motion and Wynn Resorts, and we also a little while back gave some additional symbols where we went ahead and we looked for some new stocks. And a lot of those stocks are still doing very well. On that original list, I had stocks like LEAP, OXPS, BIDU, GS, CME, and WYNN. I mean, what's interesting, if you go through most of those stocks, they still are trading extremely well with the method. So that shows you the consistency. We've actually did that at this time, I think, when we're recording this, maybe 6 to 8 weeks ago. And almost all of those are either coming off of or have had some very nice trades in the interim. So I wanted to sort of take you through that process again of just how quickly you could theoretically be overwhelmed with stocks to trade, and therefore options such as calls and puts you could trade on these stocks. So a stock trader with this method should never feel like they are struggling to find good candidates. It's the exact opposite, is trying to almost limit your field to a controllable list that you can look at. So one way that I'd like to do it, and like we've talked about in some recent videos as well, is almost nothing fancy. I'm going to use in TradeStation what's called a hot list, and this is available many different ways, and there's a whole bunch of different lists. And you know, if you go out on the internet, there's so many different scans you could use, and we give some advice on that. But I'm going to go really simple. Okay, first thing I'm going to look at is in this case, 1 day dollar gainers. I could look at percentage gainers, 5 days, 10 days, 30 days. But you know what? I would have such a long list of candidates that is not necessary. So what I normally do is I'll just pull up a hot list like this. NASDAQ Exchange, gainers. I'm trying to look for usually stocks over 1 million shares volume. You know, it may not be their average, but that's what I'm looking for. I mean, I got to draw the line somewhere. Some of you probably, even prefer lower volume stocks, and that's fine too. Nothing wrong with that. I tend to find that stocks that might be optionable tend to have more volume. So if I'm looking through here, I might write down like Rambus, RMBS, Autodesk, ADSK, Research in Motion. Of course, we've already tracked that quite a bit. This is one I've never even heard of. Let's see what else. 7 million shares. VeriSign, so VRSN. What else do we have here? BCRX, $10 stock. I might look at it. Depends if you like lower dollar stocks. Palm, I'll take a look at that just to see what's happening with that one. It's been in the news a lot. And gosh, Tibco is one I used to trade years ago quite a bit. That used to be so much higher. And Activision and Synaptics. So I'm going to go maybe I'll put Synaptics down there as well. So I've got like about 5 there. Like I said, there's nothing super scientific to this because trust me, you're going to have plenty of candidates. Here's 5-day gainers over 5 days. Basically, this is what they did today, but this is gains over 5 days. Sometimes I might pick off some interesting ones in here that are curious over a little, like Korea. I'll probably put that down. That used to be one that used to be pretty worthwhile to trade. Here's VeriSign again. So that's good for me. Now I'm going to look at losers just to kind of get the opposite side because I can trade puts, and just because the stock is going down doesn't mean that it's not going to be a good one to trade on the upside too if that's the only direction you like to trade. Interdigital here, IDCC, well, pretty huge decline in 1 day. I don't know. That may just be an anomaly there. But I'm going to put, BIDU. See, that pops up a lot, so that we've already have that on our list. Google, of course, we've looked at. Now, Wynn Resorts is a great one to trade. Been a really nice one to trade. That one's been up a lot. I'm going to write down Coinstar, CSTR. Why not? First Solar. It looks interesting. It sounds like one of the kind of stocks that probably moves quite a bit. Perfect World. Unfortunately, I've never heard of it. Don't know what it is. Garmin, I'll write that one down, GRMN. And Joy Global, I'll write that one down, JOYG. And Apple, we already have. We already tracked that one. And there's other ones in here too, of course. We could write down Priceline. There's a lot of different ways to go. Maybe I'll put that one down anyway. And then we can look at 5-day losers too, like I mentioned. All right, so 5-day losers. We'll scan here real quick. Interdigital again. There's that Coinstar, First Solar, Research in Motion, Garmin. A lot of the same names. I'll write down Hansen. That's one that in the past I've traded. And leave it at that because obviously, like I said, trust me, you're going to have more than enough that you're going to know what to do with at this point. So all I do at this point is let me just start going through some. Joy Global, just going to go the way I wrote some of these down. So what are you looking for? Visually, you want to see something. I'm going to go really compressed. This is not the greatest way to do it. But I'm already liking what I'm seeing here because I can see I probably had shorts that worked. I'm looking for good swings. Another good swing. I mean, that's a really good sign. Obviously, everything about that's too compressed. There's too much going on there. But everything about what we do here is taking in sequence. So I don't have to worry all the time, is every trade working? Because a lot of times I'm already in a trade. I don't care if there's a new setup. Like this might be a good example, where we're already in a long. But, nice big move up here. I mean, obviously successful trade in May. Potential short trade here that may not work, but it looks like it possibly could hold on, and it looks like it probably did hold on, and then it at least got down to the first target, so that's not bad. I can ignore this trade really, even though it worked because I'm already in a trade. So then I'm looking at this long here, looked pretty good, looked like it worked. So I'm seeing enough here to say, hey, this is one that definitely is worth potentially trading. Garmin, again, same thing. Well, the reason that it was on the list, it obviously had some news. So we want to scroll back a little bit. Much smaller profile, 70 cents, but good trade there. It actually probably was trading this setup, not this one, because it's probably already long. Looked like it didn't take the short. And don't forget with stocks, you got to adjust a little bit. Like if I have a setup around 23.72, I might be looking. That's too big on this one to go over 24 because it's a small profile. But I'd probably bump it up a little bit. So I'm seeing pretty good action here. Other than what this is showing me a bit is that this one's going to have smaller profiles. This is going to go $1 to $2 usually. What's happened recently, a bit of an unusual move. But it looks like it trades fairly well. I wouldn't be super excited about this one, but you could probably pull off some decent trades there. This is probably going to be a highly volatile stock, no surprise, big run up. Another run down that's happening now. Looks like we're just about to that target. That's a $9 move. Not bad, right? In a few days. You can tell right away that this one's going to be a pretty crazy one to trade. Might be good for options traders, but looks like, and I assume it's optionable. I don't know that for a fact, but definitely some big swings. So there's big stuff happening with this one. Again, another really nice long here, and it obviously goes fast. And even though there's a lot of setups here, it's not too many. So this would definitely go on my list. Coinstar, CSTR. I mean, right away it looks pretty good, other than obviously big profile now. That would be a little bit unusual. I mean, it might work. It's just probably quite a bit larger than the 80 cents, 70 cents that we were seeing. So the next setup coming up might be a little bit of a concern, but this one looks like a good mover to me. I mean, you can just tell that's the kind of stock that moves. If they stop moving, stocks do go through cycles, just drop it off your list. IDCC, remember this is the one with the huge gains recently. Again, this one looks like it's a fairly smooth mover. It would not scare me to consider this one. Especially now with the big ups and down moves, it's probably going to keep moving for a bit. Priceline, PCLN. Let's see kind of what happens here. On just a crazy tear of late, but it would be one I would really probably be very high on. I mean, I can see lots of good swings here, and even if the stock is too rich, you can trade options. And don't forget, with stock, it's just a matter. You don't have to trade 100 shares. You can trade 10 shares. I mean, depends upon the risk that you are going to take, 2% risk or lower or whatever you're working with. So I think you get the idea here. We were going through quite a few stocks, and most of them look quite good. Hansen's, obviously, forget the little late, the recent move. It's got some pretty nice swings here. Not perfect. I can see like some loss, but I definitely see some really good trades. I mean, again, it's hard to just say this one wouldn't trade effectively. Rambus was another one, RMBS. This one might be coming off the list. It looks to me like there's a couple good moves, but almost too many setups. I would not trade that one. Looks a little choppier than I like. I think you can kind of get the idea of what the difference is. I'm not doing some huge back test here. I mean, visually, you can tell, like Autodesk, at least lately, has been incredible. You want to go back a little further. You don't want to make sure that it's just like a rarity. But look at this. I mean, it seems like for the entire year of 2009, when it moves, it moves. So it would be on my list as a possibility. VeriSign. Let's see what we have here. A little not. This one, it's got some pretty nice moves in here. I mean, I would probably go back on that one and walk through it a little bit more. I'm not convinced as of yet, but I definitely saw some good trades. And I'm not expecting to win every trade either. If I win one that goes to the 2x and I lose one that just loses the 1x, that's a pretty good victory, but that's what I'm looking for. This is way too many setups. So PALM, I can tell you right away when I see that many numbers, that many setups, it's choppy. Not interested. Even if it's had a recent real nice trade, it would immediately drop off my list. SYNA, let's see what we have here. That's a pass for me. So you see how easy it is. So go ahead and get started, and we'll be back with you soon.